Summer means what? Summer means some extra sales, some really good finds, and I must say, the fragrance by the Canadian one, I don't know if you can see like the name of it here, it's becoming my kind of like top favorite perfume site to buy fragrances from.
Alright, I was craving this one for a long time and I couldn't find it on a good deal. So this is État Libre d'Orange, very experimental niche house. And the one that a lot of people said that they were disappointed in because it was too wearable. I never thought I would like meet the day when the fragrance that was too wearable would consider it to be detriment. But I guess the reputation of État Libre d'Orange at this point is so scandalous that when they make something wearable, it's almost a scandal in itself. So the fragrance that I'm talking about is semi-modern vetiver, fat electrician. Well, at least they're being true to their reputation by the name. The fat electrician is basically a very sensual, slightly oily, kind of like soft, spicy, warm vetiver. I would dare say it's almost like this, if amber accord existed in the form of essential oil, I would say like somebody mixed an amber oil with vetiver oil, diluted it with a little bit of skincare, just, you know, like a typical shea butter lotion, and that's what it became. So it's not as deep and oily as some Arabic perfumes can be. It's definitely diluted. In the intensity of all the notes here, I would say, is in the level of lotiony, right? Like it's not a cloud. It's like denser than any kind of gas form. I don't know why I'm going with that comparison, but let's just finish the sentence, Maria. But it's not as dense as the oil, so it's some kind of souffle, lotiony kind of intensity. In various interviews and kind of like marketing releases, they were kind of saying that they were trying to find this kind of representation of masculinity that is kind of like a daddy type of bod, you know, like the slightly overweight man who is still somewhat sassy, but he's at the same time a little bit, I don't know, a little bit sweaty, I guess, a little bit oily, but comfortable, cozy, comfortable, but sassy at the same time. I don't know, like, what's the name of it? Help me. What's it called? Please save me from myself. How's it called? Like, there's like a specific term in the dating scene for those guys. But I think you know what I'm talking about. So this is basically the État Libre d'Orange take on this kind of like the sexiness of a slightly overweight, kind of like this teddy bear type of dude, like a couch potato that still got it though. He's still got it. All right, the next one is when I finally pulled the plug and got myself a now more thoughtful full bottle purchase of Juliette Has a Gun. I got a few bottles by Juliette Has a Gun, but I must say I'm either disappointed in the things that I buy from them, or it's a blind buy that is just like, it's good, you know, it's interesting. So this was quite a big deal because I actually used up a sample and I really wanted this perfume. So this is the first one that I actually feel like I'm buying thoughtfully and like I'm enjoying the act of purchasing something from them. So this is Mad Madame. The packaging itself, I wouldn't say, like, I wouldn't call this elegant, but it's definitely stylish. So it's a matte, like a deeper red with glossy kind of thorny vines all around it. I hope you can see the bottle design. Very heavy black metal lid. Otherwise it's rather standard. Spray and everything else. So I have here, how much did I buy? 100 ml. if I'm not mistaken, a page, I think you can find these, if you find them for $50, it's a really, really good deal. If you find them for 60, 70, that's probably like the middle price, at least right now on the market. And full price, if you buy it from the official website, I think is over $100. So what I really like about Madame, that despite that majority of fragrances by Juliette has gone in their main line, to me they're too musky. They're kind of like this like typical zesty, fruituli / zesty musks, the white musks. They're very grabby, they last a long time, but I just don't like those bases. So the Madame differs from them very favorably in the dimension that it's more powdery, that it's a little bit more nuanced, and it's deeper. For example, I have Lady Vengeance, and that is such sour rose. Oh, that's just like, it just gives me this, it's mouth-watering sour. Like you almost want to like get a glass of water with it. This one is a very different kind of rosy scent. I do feel rose in here, but this is the kind of rose I prefer. This is a little bit less zesty, oily, and sour. This one is more herbaceous, powdery, spicier. It's like cocooned in carnation, maybe like tonka beans. Some of the wrappings in there, they give it a little bit more of a almost dusty and kind of like heavy velvety feel, and that's the kind of rose I actually prefer. I absolutely love it. It also has a bit of a kind of like a raspberry overtone to it, I feel, or at least something sweet and fruity. But that aspect sometimes does show on my skin, and sometimes it's way more subdued. Because if it was way more prominent, like I would say probably you know, by Juliette Has a Gun, which is a brighter red bottle, I think that one is way more fruity, and for that I can't quite wear it. Here we have some flirtation with some kind of either fruit or berry note that is poking in every once in a while, but it's not as apparent and it's not as in your face. So yeah, I'm very happy that I finally found Juliette Has a Gun fragrance that I love. My subscription from Perfume.com came this month, and in my queue I put the Micallef Royal Musca. This is probably one of the softest musks, fruity musks that I know on the market. Again, Micallef is kind of known for their approach to fruity notes. You might like it, you might not, but that's kind of what they're really, really known for. It's not the only thing that they do well, but some of their most known perfumes are deliciously musky, peachy, kind of like this sensual, sweet, delicious gourmand notes. And this is probably the most nudie, peachy scent that I know of. Musk here is more representative of those kind of like thick lotions that you sometimes can buy like in like luxury body care. It's very souffle, very skin tight. It sits close to the skin. It's very sensual. It's kind of like that dainty jewelry, right? Like that almost accentuates and brightens the skin without really becoming an accessory that you notice first. You notice the skin on which that little dangly thing is being laid upon. So this is the same with this scent. I think it almost complements the naked skin rather than becomes a fragrance, so to speak. So I would say this is a perfect so-called third, fourth date fragrance, if you know what I mean. This is something that I'm not gonna stand on the way of somebody, let's say, kissing your shoulder or so, and it's almost gonna create this feel of that's what you smell like, because it's so nudie but yet subtly sensual through this kind of fruity musk. Beautiful, very intimate kind of perfume. Love it. I wish I could get a bottle of this, but I guess like the decant will do. And the other one is kind of like, it's my like shame walk confession. I noticed I shit so much on mainstream gourmands. Like, I should be ashamed of myself, and believe me, I am. I just, you know, I can't help it. I like what I like and I dislike what I dislike. I'm sure you can relate, at least to some degree. There are probably some popular fragrances and bestsellers that you can't stand either. But I think the rules are, we make the rules to break them. So this is a rule breaker. This is a fragrance I shouldn't like by any means. It should not be something that I enjoy, but I do. So this is what I got as a gift with purchase when I was buying those Viktor&Rolf selective line perfumes, and I got their classic Eau de Parfum. Oh no, this is Le de Parfum Flowerbomb. This is not a flanker. As far as I know, this is like the OG Flowerbomb. I don't know what's wrong with me, or maybe what's finally becoming right with me. I love it, but I love it in 1, max 2 sprays, because there's something that just completely gets ruined in the composition and the intensity of each note when you overspray it. And this is, I think, why I didn't like it before. It's a very popular fragrance, I don't have to tell you. Flowerbomb is one of best sellers. That's what keeps Viktor&Rolf basically on the market. And this is why they have probably 50 or 100 flankers of it. But my only experience with it was kind of catching a whiff from other people, and it would always be like an overdose of liquid syrupy caramel / sugar. I couldn't even dissect it into a pyramid. It was just like an attack of sweetness. It's what I call diabetes in a bottle. And now I have a decant. It's not a decant, it's like a travel size. How much do we have here? We have here 3 milliliters. But when I apply it, just 1 spray, it's miraculous. 2 gets much sweeter and more syrupy. 3, it's completely ruined. Like, this is the one that almost completely changes the way it portrays itself depending on how much you apply. And I mean either ways, be it skin, be it clothing, be it a blotter or hair. So I must say, if everyone who wears Flowerbomb would apply just 1 spray, I would probably call it like one of my top 20 in the designer market. Unfortunately, people usually bathe in it, and then it just like loses almost 80% of its appeal and charm, because in delicate application, there's so much to it. There's way more to it than I anticipated. It's subtly powdery. It's subtly spicy. In the sweetness that is floral and sometimes kind of musky, sometimes fruity, it's so vibrant and so iridescent, especially in this like delicacy of the dry down with the powdery notes of Flowerbomb. That I'm like, it's so charming. It's just a charmer, absolute charmer. But yet, as soon as it gets more than 2 sprays, I'm out. There's just like, I'm done. That's it. We're done here. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe my taste is changing? Maybe, I don't know. But it turns out I have to now kind of like do my walk of shame and say, I don't like sweet liquid sugar gourmands, but I like Flowerbomb. And to finish on the hyper positive note, you probably have guessed it by now, I am slowly but surely accumulating them all. So this is another Histoires de Parfums. I got myself 1826 in 60 ml. I'm afraid that I will just like make a hole in your brain by repeating how much I love the packaging, because it's so contemporary yet with a nod to nostalgia. It's so intelligent. It's kind of like almost highbrow in some way. So you get this matte three-dimensional imprinted paper. You get this somewhat kind of futuristic / Art Deco design. And when you open it up, it's hidden in this little coffer, and you get half of your book if you get 60 ml, and it's a full book if it's 120. So let's quickly check what are we expecting to find here. If my memory serves me right, this is gonna be kind of like kitchen spices with herbal green, kind of like dry flower notes. Let's see. White on white. A fine and gripping scent as Eugene de Montilla, born 1826, was a woman of unprecedented influence, admired for her style, delicacy, and exquisite feminine taste, wife of Napoleon III, ultimately the last French empress. If you want to smell like the last French empress, 1826 is for you. You know, get ready to take a shot. It's very elegant. I can't help it. Man, I need to broaden my vocabulary. It's almost like it's like a Tourette syndrome. Like the word elegant just keeps popping out of my mouth. What do we have here? Bergamot mandarin in the opening notes. Fleurs blanches, I guess white flowers. Violet, cannelle, ginger, and patchouli, ambre, incense, bois blonde, so white wood, I guess, musks, white musks, and vanille. You know, this is the one, as actually a fair amount of Histoires de Parfums and État Libre d'Orange as well, where the description of notes is not necessarily gonna help you to imagine the set. I would say this is one of the very true to their DNA. I know that the Histoires de Parfums did a lot of departures from the beautiful herbaceous kind of dry flowers DNA that I just described to you earlier. Their black line is different, their blue bottle line is very different, but these is very quintessential classic to what they do. I think I probably should just stop here and maybe do a separate review and comparison, side-by-side comparison of Histoires de Parfums, at least their portrait kind of like historic line, because when I describe them in isolation, I think I'm using very similar words. You let me know if it's helpful or not. But they are obviously different when you compare them to each other. So in a way, I don't think that if you have, let's say, 1828 or 1826 or 1899, that you need all of them. Because they are very related to each other. They are similar. I find them to be quite similar. But they also have some delicate differences that might be worth exploring in a separate video. To like, if you're looking for something, if you want me to do that comparison, I can do it for you and try to kind of like find a way to describe the subtleties and differences so you can find the one that you like the most. I personally, as such big fan of the concept of the packaging and of the blending style, I don't have any regrets about having 3 very similar perfumes in my collection, because I just can grab them from the shelf and wear them anytime. I love them that much. You let me know what kind of themes you found here that are worth exploring more. I'll be waiting for your comments. Thank you so much for spending time with me and watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video.